Hello, hello. Can you hear me? How are you doing? So, how is your day going? How is everything? You can tell me hi, say hello in the comments, and I'm really glad to see all of you. So, while you are sharing about your day, about your mood, I think I can present the topic. Today we have something very interesting, and today we are going to speak about environment and geography. Honestly, that was my second favorite lesson at school after English, so I do hope that you will enjoy it as well. So I think we can get started, and let's have a look at the first part of our today's lesson. So, as you can see here, I have two sentences. For example, many of you can say that if you pass NMT well, you will be proud of yourselves. I hope that's true about you. And if we didn't have a webinar right now, you would probably prepare for NMT individually. So, what construction is it? Any ideas? What are these sentences? Yeah, so you already given not only like the grammar itself, not only conditionals, but you mentioned the numbers. Yeah, so number one is first conditional, and number two is second conditional. So what is the difference between them? Let's discuss. Tell me please about the first sentence. If I pass NMT, I'll be proud of myself. Are we passing NMT right now, or is it some future action? It's future, of course. So NMT is just some upcoming event which will happen to us in the future. So speaking about something that is, first of all, probably real, something that is coming, and something that will probably happen in the future, yeah, we use first conditional. What about the second one? Are we having a webinar right now? Yes, we are, like here we are communicating with each other. So in second conditional, we try to imagine something which is opposite to reality. So for real, we have a webinar, opposite if we didn't have it right now. So that's the main difference between those two. And now I suggest you look at all the conditionals that we checked today. So this one, if I am tired, I listen to music. What conditional is it? If I am tired, I listen to music. Hello, hello. Nice to see new people who are joining. Yes, it's right. That is a zero conditional. And here we have two main parts of the conditional sentence. It's always like that. We have if clause, and logically we have the result clause. So we set some condition, I am tired, result, I listen to music to relax. And yes, that is zero conditional, so it's not only about future, it's about any time in your life. So no matter when you're tired, you'd probably listen to music. Okay, so here, if I study hard, I'll pass the exams with flying colors. By the way, it's a nice idiom about успішно завершити or скласти екзамени, pass the exams with flying colors, meaning to pass them for a good, very good mark. Yes, that is first conditional, very similar to what we had in the previous example. Here, if I had more time, I would prepare better for the exams. So no need to guess, that's conditional too. And here, does this person have enough time or not? What do you think? For real, does this person have enough time? No, unfortunately, they don't. So they wish they had more time, but for real, it's not enough. Yeah, very good. Okay, and the third conditional looks like this. If I had attended all English classes, I wouldn't have missed that grammar topic. So do we speak about current attendance or something that already happened? it happened in the past, like he didn't attend for real, but the speaker tries to imagine how it would be different if he actually did. So if I had attended, I wouldn't have missed that grammar topic. So we use third conditional for unreal things which already happened in the past and we cannot move back. All right, all looks good so far, so let's keep moving. And here, I will invite you to match the conditional and its formula and its way of usage. So just put me like 1A and for example 1. So conditional 0, what is its formula? If plus what? Oh, that's a great question about mixed conditional. So, usually they are not checked in grammar topics. So those use of English sentences that we have at the end, they do not check mixed conditional. So it's only about clear or pure first, second, or third, but you can meet some mixed conditional sentences in the text sometimes, like text which check reading skills. So for now, we focus on learn conditionals 1, 2, 3. Okay, I already have the answer. So conditional 0 is B, present simple and present simple. And it's the first rule, general truth, laws of nature. Okay, number 2, you say it's C. Yes, it's right. So we have present simple, but afterwards we have will. And the rule would be number 2, present and future real situations. So if I receive another question right now, I will answer it. That's very probable. That's something that can happen during the webinar. So I use first conditional. Or if I receive some comments after the lesson is over, I'll still answer them. Again, something probable for the nearest future. So conditional 2, I already have the answers. Yes, that is D, so we use past simple there. And it's rule number 4, so it could be present or future unreal situations. So here we can dream. If people learned to travel to space, or not to space, but to other galaxies, we would explore many more secrets of universe, for example. But we believe that it's not really realistic, at least in our lifetime. And conditional 4 is logically A, which is past perfect and would have, and the third rule, so it's past unreal situations. So now, let's look one more time at the details. Zero conditional presents things which are typically true. First conditional presents things which will probably become true in the future. Second, unrealistic things right now, something we want to be different right now. And third conditional is all about missed things, some regrets, or things we imagine would have happened differently. So here I've collected the rules. You can take a screenshot, you can scan the QR code, and additionally you can find the link in the comments, which should lead you to a bigger chart with the rules, like where we contain all the things you need to know. So here I put in the different columns if clause and main clause. And pay attention that here we have it a bit different that you may use to. So I don't say present simple. I just say present, because sometimes in if clause we can have present continuous, for example, or it could be future, again not simple, but could be like future continuous. It could be will, or it could be any modal verb. For example, if I receive a message, I will call you, or if I receive your message, I can call you, or I may call you. So we may change the meaning using other modal verbs. Just remember that. Okay, then speaking of second conditional, again, we can use would, but instead of it, we can use other past modals like could, might, and so on. And it would be okay. If I had time, I could come with you. Like maybe, but maybe not. And here is the third conditional, past perfect, and typically would have. But again, remember that present or past can be not only simple. It could be continuous, sometimes even perfect. The same here. It could be will or other modals. So now let's check if you get conditionals on your own by choosing the correct options. So number one, if we don't or didn't make an effort to reduce global warming, the effects will be devastating. So what should we choose? Don't or didn't? Any ideas? If we don't, absolutely right, because here we have will be. So it's first conditional, it's real situation. Good. Number two, more and more dolphins would or would die if we don't stop polluting the sea. Unfortunately, they will die. They are under the threat if we don't stop. But here, as you can see, us not stopping to pollute the sea is more realistic outcome than us to stop polluting. Okay, number three. Would you still have played in the match if you had known or would know you'd lose? Had known. Yes, so you didn't know in the past, but if you had known, maybe you would have decided not to take part in that. Okay, number four, I already have the answers. So yes, if we had listened, to the weather forecast in the past, we wouldn't have set sail this morning. Number five, the lake, be careful. So number five. What about the lake? It wouldn't or won't be so polluted if it weren't for the factory. Wouldn't, yeah. So weren't for the factory. So here, it weren't. We use were or was in past simple. So logically, that is second conditional. So for real, is the lake polluted or not? Again, my question, is the lake polluted for real? Unfortunately, yes, unfortunately, it is polluted. But if it weren't for the factory, like if there was no factory, but the factory is there. Oh, polluted is забруднений. Polluted, pollution, забруднення, polluted, забруднений. So yeah, here, for real, there is a factory and the lake is polluted. But we imagine that if there were not a factory, or if it weren't for the factory, then the lake wouldn't be polluted. And number six, I already have some answers. So yeah, we might have drowned if the Coast Guard hadn't arrived without delay. So here may be some unknown words for you. Drown. Тонути, so we might have drowned, ми могли б втонути, if the Coast Guard, coast, it's like узбережжя, Coast Guard, охорона, берегова охорона, hadn't arrived without delay. Or рятувальники, probably рятувальники is better here. Okay, so I think all is clear here. If any questions, feel free to ask me anytime, I'm still reading your comments. And we keep moving. So, here I have a nice picture. If you will exercise a lot, you will lose weight. Is it correct? Of course not. We should just say if you exercise a lot. So no will after if. pay attention. That's a common mistake, and even if you know it, like doing some grammar activities, you may still forget about that when you speak. So never use will or would after if. Here is the rule, just remember it for good. So then, now I have a pair of sentences where you have to decide whether they are true or false. I mean, correct or incorrect, sorry. So, I'd give Julia the money if she asked me. Or if she asked me, I'd give her the money. Which one is correct, which one is not? What do you think? So, any ideas in the comments? Okay, A is correct. Okay, I agree with Dmitry. Both are correct. Yes, exactly. So, two of them are correct, and the rule says that if we have this if clause and result clause, we can put them in any order. So we can start with if, or we can put if in the second part. Yes, B is correct too. Good. Okay, what about these two? If he was a millionaire, Jane would marry him. Or if he were a millionaire, he would donate a lot of money to charity. So if he was or if he were, and which is right? Okay, the second one is correct. Well, I agree. What about A? Is A correct here or not? Okay, A is correct. B, what about B? So is B incorrect then? Or what? What about B? If he were. Okay, so people are yelling in the comments. But the truth is that both options are absolutely correct. So just remember that in second conditional we can use both was and were if we have a subject I, he, she, it. And that is true. So why so? Let me explain. The rule says that if we present some unreal or unrealistic situation, we typically use were no matter what subject we have. So if Jimmy were here, he would solve the problem briefly. But we can also say if Jimmy was here, he would solve the problem briefly and it would be correct. So how to distinguish? I would give you this. Probably like good old British grammar says that it should be were. But as people tend to simplify everything, they typically use was without even overthinking, and it still looks all right. So really, it could be both without no difference in meaning. But again, like grammar books mostly say it should be were. Modern grammar accepts was as an option. But were for unrealistic things, it's an existing rule that you should be aware of. Sometimes you can say something like, I wish he were here. Again, he is not here, but I want him to be, so I wish he were here. But again, everyday English, I can say, I wish he was here, and no one would judge me. So actually, yeah, we can use both. I can give you like a clue. In NMT, hopefully, we won't have a choice in between was and were. Like they won't add some tests that would consider both options. But if you see were as one of the options, just remember that it's possible. Do not let it confuse you. Or if you see was, again, it still might be an option. So for example, you have a row where you have to choose like is, was, or let's say had been. And grammatically past simple fits. You choose was. Or if there's were, again, choose it, don't let it confuse you. So it would be was, all right. And here we have two sentences. Please look carefully, very carefully, and tell me if they're right or wrong. If someone emails her, comma, she replies straight away. Or she would have replied you, comma, if you had texted her in advance. So what do you think of them? Correct or not? Okay, both are correct. Let's check. So yeah, number one is good. And we typically use comma if we have two parts, but number two is incorrect because we don't need comma when we have if as the second part. So just remember, in English, typically it works this way. When we have no linkers, жодних сполучних слів, we put a comma in between the sentences. But if there is some linker, like if, when, and so on, you typically don't need comma in English. All right? So again, in written English, we put comma between if clause and the result clause because there is no linker. But we don't use it when we have a linker, in our case, if, in the middle of the sentence. And this rule could be applied to basically any linkers. It's not just conditional sentences. But on this example, it's like easy to understand. So I hope that was helpful and maybe something new. Again, luckily, we don't check the punctuation at NMT, so you don't need to know it like by heart, but still to have an image whether you need that comma or not would be pretty useful. So let's keep moving. In this particular task, you have to open the brackets, deciding what conditional it is. So number one, I absolutely love traveling. When I enough money, I abroad. I do it a few times a year. Pay attention, I do it a few times a year. So what conditional is it? And how can we open the brackets correctly? Have and go. You're right. So it's zero conditional. That's why it's super simple. And you just use the verbs in present simple. No changes. Good. Number two, nobody here speaks English. Too bad Alex isn't with us. If he, here, he, translate for us. So what should we put at number two? If he, and then he, some form of can. Yes, absolutely correct. So if he were here, or we can say if he was here, he could translate for us. Very good. So again, was or were are possible. Can changes for could, may changes for might. So please do not change the modal verb itself. Like use the same but past form. Number three, I, something with get, and A for the test, if I. All those dates. Instead, I got a B. I really should have studied more. So, what is the time of these events? Okay, I can see some really nice answers. Good job, Slavочka. Yeah. So, I would have got an A for the test if I had remembered all those dates. Right. Instead, I got B. So for real, you already received B. It cannot be changed. But you imagined that if you had remembered, and so on. Good. Number four, if he, a car, it's difficult for him to get to work on weekends. So I need your answers. Okay, time to check. So if he didn't have a car, it would be difficult for him to get to work. Does he have a car for real? Yes or no? Does he have a car? Yes, of course, for real, she has a car, but in second conditional, we imagine something opposite to reality. Okay, number 5. Stop asking me what Tom bought you for birthday. Even if what he bought you, anyway. Even if what? It's second conditional. Even if I knew, I'm saying that I do not know for real. Right now, I don't know. But if I knew, I imagine opposite to current events, what he bought you, I wouldn't tell you. Okay, good. And number 6 is left. I'm sorry, I didn't know you were allergic to strawberry. If another cake. So pay attention, I didn't know you were allergic to strawberry. I understand that conditionals might be confusing, but maybe if you rewatch this webinar one more time, it will become clear for you. So yeah, if I had known in the past, I would have made you another cake. So then tell me, please, what was the taste of the cake that was prepared for birthday? What was the taste of this cake for real? It was a strawberry cake, yeah. And it was prepared in the past, and it was probably already eaten, but we imagine something that was opposite to reality. Like if I had known, if I had that information before, I would have made you a different one. But for real, I made strawberry because I didn't know. So again, 0 and first are real conditionals. So we imagine something that can possibly happen. Second and third are unreal, so we have some real situation. We switch it to the opposite one and present it in the form of conditional. Okay, that was good. But also, I already mentioned that sometimes we can put something extra in our conditionals. And here's what we can do. So instead of if, we can use unless. And that's exactly the same as if not. So you can say, if I am not busy, I will help you. Or you can say, unless I am busy. You see, I don't use not with unless. Unless I am busy, I will help you. Or like here, we will go on a picnic unless it rains, which is equal if it doesn't rain. So if there is rain, I don't go. Unless it rains, I go. Also, we can use some more phrases, for example, provided or providing, no difference, as long as, on condition that, and many more phrases, which are used with real conditionals. And as I mentioned before, real conditionals are 1 and 0. So we can say, I'll pass the exam providing за умови, I get at least 80 points. Or I'll pass only if, лише якщо, I get at least 80 points. Also, we can use more words. supposing or suppose, again, almost no difference in meaning. Let's say imagine, and as you can already guess, they are used with hypothetical conditionals, which are second and third. So here we set real condition like за умови, поки, for example, as long as you love me, I will love you in return. Поки ти мене кохаєш, and so on. But here with supposing, let's say imagine, we try to imagine basically something which is not real. Like here, supposing you are famous. Допустимо, ти відомий, but you are not for real. What would you do? We can also say if you were famous, but supposing gives even less possibility to this sentence. Допустимо, something like that. But honestly, I don't believe it. So that sounds something like that. And sometimes you can say not just if, but what if? And here's how we use it. What if you'd missed your flight? So instead of asking what would have happened if, we can just say, what if you'd missed your flight? So we just skip one clause here, and we make it much shorter, which still sounds like що було б, якби, what if you missed your flight? Okay, very good here. So, and then right now you have to choose the better option. So please look at the conditionals and try to tell me which one is right. I'll join you at the party, providing or unless I work late. Which one do you choose? In the comments, please. Okay, unless I work late, because if I work late, I will not join your party. But if I not, I will join. Yeah, good. Okay, number 2, my parents allow me to go out late as long as, or supposing, I text them where I am. As long as, допоки. So, as long as they know where I am, I can go. Number 3, you've got to start studying if you'll fail all those exams, or you'll fail all those exams. Or, so sometimes we can use kind of opposite condition or opposite result. If you don't study, you will fail. Or you have to study, or you fail. Good. Number 4, it's okay, we can get the bus if or unless we miss the train. If we miss the train, very good. Number 5, providing or supposing you found a wallet with $5,000. What would you do? Supposing, допустимо, уявимо, because providing, it's like за умови, so it's much more realistic. But supposing, it's something really not a real thing to happen. And number 6, I wouldn't have lost the game. Yes, that's right. If I'd train more. Okay, very good here. So then, now I suggest we do an exercise where we have the text, and it's a typical use of English task of NMT, but here all the questions are dedicated to conditionals only. So start reading carefully and give me the correct options. A, B, C, or D. Don't forget to mention the numbers, otherwise I'm not sure whether you answer correctly. So number 1. Supposing you some form of hear about an underwater volcano, what would your reaction be? Yep, supposing you heard. So first of all, the word supposing is not used with real conditionals, so it's definitely not 0 and not first. Supposing is a synonym to if, so we can not use will or would. Very good. And yeah, all we have is second conditional because here we have would. I already see many answers for number 2. Great. So have you ever wondered what? Okay, you say it should be D. What won't cause? Oh, what would happen? Sorry. If a volcano erupted in an area near you. Okay. Number 3. I hear some answers, and that is B. Would cause, yeah. Number 4. It is believed that if scientists, number 4. I'm not sure, it's A. So if scientists, oh, it's A, good. So it is believed that if scientists study this volcano, they will. Yes, so they study, they will. First conditional. Okay, number 5. If the findings reveal useful information, scientists. Number 5. Somebody says it's D, will gain. Yeah, again, first conditional. And the last one, therefore, if more research in the past, be careful, think what that is. Okay, so all is good. Number 6 is B. Guys, it's B, had been conducted. Very good. So now, as we were speaking right now about volcanoes, it's something from natural disasters. And today in the part where we speak about nature, we're going to talk about those disasters. So here, as you can see, we have just 4 words, and I've tried to put some new words for you. So have you heard of number 2, avalanche? Or maybe number 3? By the way, is it a correct word there? What do you think? Okay, so you know flood, you know avalanche. What about number 3? I think I put some wrong word on purpose. So, what can you tell me? Drought. So number 3 should be a drought. Very good. Посуха. And number 4 is a hailstorm. So when those icy, I don't know, balls fall down from the sky, yes, that's a hailstorm. And it's not a blizzard. By the way, what is a blizzard? Who knows? Who can tell me? What's a blizzard? That's a very snowy weather. Yes, heavy snowstorm. Absolutely right. Good job there. So then, I can see you know these words, so it's not something new for you. Then let's sort them into the categories. So the first one would be natural disasters. Some examples you've just seen on the slide. The second one is everything connected with energy. And number 3, pollution. So in the comments, you can just write 1 and then list the words that go to this category. The same do with number 2 and number 3. By the way, you may choose any column and not all of you write about the first category, but for example, some choose energy, others choose pollution, and that's how we can finish this slide faster. So, there you go. Choose what you feel fits best. So I think we already got natural disasters. What about energy topic? You can just list using commas. And what about pollution? We found one word, waste dump, but what's more? Okay, so natural disasters. Here they are. Hurricane, earthquake, avalanche, drought. I hope all of the words are clear. If you don't know some translations, feel free to ask. That's absolutely right. Okay, so energy, solar panels, renewable sources, also fossil fuels and coal. Okay, good. And pollution, waste dump, acid rains, fumes, and toxic waste. Okay, Mikhailo, if the words seem unknown, first of all, you can check the Quizlet. I will send the link very soon, or you can already find it in the comments. And second of all, just dedicate some more time to learning these words, because it's very important. But I can translate. So, hurricane, ураган, earthquake, землетрус, avalanche, лавина, drought, посуха. Solar panels, сонячні панелі, fossil fuels, it's викопні види палива. So it's oil, нафта, gas, природній газ, coal, which is вугілля, coal, and all of them are fossil fuels. So, like energy fuels, види пального that are usually underground. And renewable sources, відновлювані джерела енергії. So it's something like wind, power, and so on. And when it comes to pollution, we have waste dump, it's like сміттєве звалище, acid rains, кислотні дощі, fumes, it's like вихлопи, meaning the things that cars emit, for example, and toxic waste, токсичні відходи. So I hope I answered all your questions, but as I promised, all of these words and many more are collected in Quizlet. You can scroll up a little bit and find the link for it, Quizlet environment, or you can just scan the QR code and learn the words from there. Strongly recommend. It is really needed. Oh, so the link is pinned in the comments right now. Feel free to use it. And we keep moving because it's time to use these words. So here, you need to fill in the gaps and guess what types of words are hidden. They are in your Quizlet, but unfortunately, I didn't give you them in the box. So just use your intuition. If it weren't for some effect, the world would be a colder place. So what effect keeps our world warm? What is that? Any ideas? I'm pretty sure you know it in Ukrainian. Warming effect. That would be too easy. Any more ideas? But you forgot. Okay. Greenhouse effect. Парниковий ефект. Greenhouse. Greenhouse. Зелений дім. Парник. So we have greenhouse effect. I think it's easy to remember. Okay. Number 2. Could renewable energy sources slow down the rate of some change? So, could renewable energy sources, чи можуть відновлювані джерела енергії сповільнити what? Climate change. Yes, climate change with E. Okay, number 3. Hurricanes, landslides, and earthquakes are all examples of natural disasters. Well done. Природні лиха. Okay, number 4. If the hole in the... Oh, I can see the answer. Ozone layer, озоновий шар, does not decrease in size, it will no longer protect the Earth from ultraviolet rays. So, ozone layer. Number 5, more people should install some panels on their roofs, especially in countries where there is a lot of sunshine. So what panels should be easy? Solar panels, сонячні панелі. By the way, pay attention that in English we have the word sun as a noun, but the adjective from the word sun would be solar, сонячний. We can say sunny about the weather, but if we speak about solar energy, solar panels, we use the second one. Okay, number 6, global warming, глобальне потепління. Yes, all good. Okay, so here I've got many more natural disasters, and let's try to name them. So what is number 1? What is number 1? Your ideas? Hurricane. Good. Number 2. Actually, a hurricane is number 1. And number 2 is... Okay, number 5, lightning. Yeah, agree. Tornado. So number 2 is tornado. They are different. Hurricane is just a strong wind, while tornado is the spinning air that could destroy a lot. So tornado is this whirlpool, like spinning air. Okay, number 3. I know that it could be something like hot, but what do we use exactly for really dangerous weather condition? It's extreme heat or heat wave, теплова хвиля. Heat wave or extreme heat. Number 4, drought, very good. And number 5, thunderstorm. So this white thing is a lightning, блискавка. The sound we hear is a thunder, but all together, like грозова буря, would be a thunderstorm. Thunderstorm. I really like the answer high temperature. It's amazing. Okay, so then, right now, as we named them, let's please guess which of these disasters is described on the screen. These are extended periods of unusually high temperatures. The heat may be unbearably humid or very dry. By the way, unbearably, it's like ту, що важко переносити. Unbearably humid, волога, or very dry. Okay, yeah, that's number 3, a heat wave. By the way, crops, pay attention to this word. Crops, it's like злакові, зернові культури, meaning the fields of some plants that we're gonna harvest and then eat. Зернові культури. Okay, the second text. They involve strong winds accompanied by torrential rain and lightning. The relatively large amount of rainfall in a short period of time can cause flash floods. So what is that? By the way, torrential rain is rain happening like a lot of water during the short period of time. So that would be a torrential rain, like проливний дощ. And you say it's number 5. Yes, exactly. So that's a thunderstorm. Okay, next. They appear as rapidly rotated columns of air moving along the ground at speeds between 180 and 450 kilometers per hour. These storms can cause severe structural damage where they strike. So that is tornado, absolutely right. So rotating columns of air. Okay, good. Next, these are powerful windstorms that form over tropical oceans and coastal прибережні regions and the Caribbean Sea and the Southwest Pacific Ocean are most at risk of these storms. So what are we talking about? Yes, that's number one. That's a hurricane. So that's the difference. Hurricane is strong tropical windstorms, while tornado is a spinning or rotating column of air. And the last one is easily to guess. It's a drought, so they can last for days, and it's when we have lack of water in some area. Okay, by the way, here one more disaster is mentioned, famine, which is голод. So famine, голод, when there is nothing to eat for some period of time. And we start my favorite topic. We're gonna speak about places of nature. So let's look at this very beautiful picture and try to name them. Number one, what is that? So what's number one? It's a waterfall. Yes, good. Number two, what is number two? You may say a river. What else could it be? And mountains, I would even say cliffs, like скали, probably, because when they are just like that, very edgy, that would be cliff. Mountain river or a stream. Yeah, so river is typically bigger. It could be a mountain river or stream, струмок, okay? Or потік. Number three. What is number three? Again, river, valley, like долина. I think it could be there, but what are these? Like, where is this river flowing? It's not a river in a valley. Valley would be flat, lots of green, but here we have those cliffs, and I think it's a very famous place, by the way. Canyon, almost right spelling, but you guessed it. So that's a canyon, then the river. Okay, number four. What is number four? And think better, because there is a difference between 4 and 5. Mountain, okay, let it be. Again, there is a difference between 4 and 5. What is 4? Okay, you say it's a mountain, and that is right. So one mountain, we can also use some words like a summit, вершина, or a peak of the mountain, again, would be вершина. Okay, number 5, that is a mountain range. So just for you to have an idea, mountain is one high object, but if we have multiple of them, we call it a mountain range. Okay, and the 6th one, it would be a tropic forest, or better to say rainforest in English. So it's a rainforest. Very good. Jungle, yeah, also possible, but more scientific name would be a rainforest. Okay, great. So then, right now, I invite you to use all those words in the brackets. So what do we have in number 1? Italy lies on a something shaped like a boat. So what has a boat shape when we speak about Italy? Oh, boot or boat, okay, doesn't matter. I think it should be a boot, by the way, not boat, but okay. Peninsula, yeah, so when we have an island, it's like surrounded by water from all sides, but peninsula is attached to the mainland by some ground. Yeah, it should be a boot, I agree. So peninsula, пів острів. Number 2, the Alps are the largest mountain something in Europe. So range or peak in number 2? Oh, and the highest peak is Mont Blanc. Good. Mountain range, highest peak, найвища вершина. Number 3, Britain's history was largely shaped by the fact that the country is an island. Yeah, good. Number 4, Norway has the longest something in Europe because of the fjords. So the longest what? Coastline. Прибережну зону, берегову зону, to say correctly. Yeah, that's a coastline, and in Norway it's very curvy, I would say. So yeah, it's very long. Number 5, the world's largest offshore oil fields are located in the Persian. Okay. Yes, that's right. Number 6, Golden Gate Bridge. All right. As always, you're correct. So it would be a bay. So we have a gulf and we have a bay, and they are a bit different, but we're going to discuss it soon. And the waters around Cape Horn Miss, like the farthest point of some country or some continent. That would be a Cape Miss. Good. So speaking of gulf and bay, I have prepared this information to you, so I hope that would be helpful. First of all, gulf is typically bigger. So when we say gulf, we mean like a huge area of water surrounded by land from 3 different sides. And when we speak about a bay, it could be rather small and it's partially enclosed by land, but usually smaller than gulf. And here, as you can see in the chart, you have the main differences in between them. So basically, gulf and bay in Ukrainian would be something like zatoka, but a gulf is larger. It has a narrow mouth, like вузький прохід. Then it's less enclosed, so toward the water and connected to the ocean. So gulf is connected to the ocean, while a bay could be connected to the ocean, to the sea, to the lake. So some smaller water objects. Okay, let's keep moving. And then right now you have to decide which option is right. So after Bangkok, we drove north or northern for about 6 hours without stopping. We drove north. Ми їхали на північ. Okay, number 2. Strong Atlantic winds are forecast in the western or west of Portugal. In the west, на заході Португалії. Yeah, so typically we use words like north, south, east, and west as adjectives, or it could be adverb, куди на північ, куди, and occasionally sometimes as nouns. So here's the west of Portugal, захід, то що, Португалії. Okay, what about the second pair of sentences? More and more people are buying second homes on the south coast of Ireland. На південному узбережжі Ірландії. So south coast. And the northern part of India have suffered severe flooding. So northern would be an adjective, and here, as you can see, we can use both south and southern, north and northern as adjectives. But the rule says that we use north, south, east, west when we refer to specific places, and we use northern, south, and eastern, western when we refer to some areas or territories. And we use them only as adjectives. So northern parts of India, північна частина Індії, but the south coast, південний берег. So here we can use both. All right. So then, I know that it's time to let you go. That's why let's agree that you will have additional task as your homework. I have it here on the slides and you will receive it in the form of presentation, but also you can scan the QR code or you can find the pinned comment in the chat, and there is a reading task dedicated to natural topic, so I'm pretty sure you can solve it, and you can type your answers to me in the chat, or you can open the presentation of this webinar on iLearn platform and find the answers there. All of that will be added. But for now, as we don't have enough time, I'm pretty sure that you can do it on your own. And now let's move to some tricky questions. So tell me please, situations in zero conditional, are they always true? Yes or no? So situations in zero conditional. Yes, they are. Of course, that's something real, something typical we always do. Situations in second conditional, are they imagined? Mention the numbers. Yeah, they are. So it's unrealistic. We imagine something that is not real. Number 3. Do we use will in if clauses in first conditional? Number 3. Do we use will in if clauses in first conditional? Yes. Are you sure? No. If I do something, I will receive something. So will goes only in the result clause. If clause should be present simple. Number 4. Do we use past perfect in third conditional? No, it's only an adjective. And number 6, is bay bigger than golf? Number 6, is bay bigger than golf? No, vice versa, golf is much bigger. Okay, so that's all from me today. Thank you for nice work at this webinar. And I hope I helped you, but if you still feel uncomfortable about some aspects, rewatch the webinar, check the presentation on iLearn platform, and check the Quizlet with all the words. I hope that will help you a lot. So thank you for the meeting. I hope you will be prepared, and see you. Bye-bye.